Hello there, Seraph17 once again. This is my Bayonetta hard pure platinum run. We're in chapter 1. The very first verse here is against a single Joy, and luckily enough we do have the key weapon, so the key weapon makes quick work of her. I've been experimenting with the angel arms to try and do both of the attacks, and I've been learning things I didn't even know, which is hilarious, because I didn't realise you could charge certain attacks with the angel arms. You know, I get so used to playing a certain way that I kind of get stuck in my ways, and I always play that way. And some of the angel arms were a victim of this. But this is the second verse. This is 2 Joys this time. The Joys are horrendous, man. They're so fast. They're essentially you. They can do everything you can do. They can pull swords, they can do the stiletto, they can do the whip attacks, and the strategy I'm going to implement against them is the same throughout, probably, because you verse 3 of them at the same time quite a lot in the game. I'm going to try and get them to trigger my witch time, and then I'm going to try and use the cowboy lasso on the whip to get that score point up. Then from there on, I'm going to separate and conquer, usually with torture attacks, because I'm not that confident or comfortable fighting them yet, but I'm getting better. And like before, I would just go full balls to the walls, attack them, but I can't afford to do that on this. I have to be more intelligent, because you take damage when you go balls to the wall, and boom, instant fail. So how do you get pure platinums? You might not have any idea, and you're wanting to know, watching this quite confused. Well, there's a score that you have to hit, you have to do it in a certain time limit, and then you have to not take damage. And it sounds pretty simple, and for the most it kind of is. It's the damage part that's difficult, and if you're the type of person who can do this stuff without taking damage, then you're okay, but I am not, and that's where I struggle the most, because I'm just careless. I'm continuously careless, and it makes it very challenging. Another thing that makes it really difficult is the checkpoints in this game for the most are great, but when they aren't, they really ruin the run. A good example is, you notice how I do the fights and at the end the scorecard comes up to tell me if I've done it? There are a handful of instances in the game where it saves before the scorecard, so when it comes up and if you've got a gold anywhere, you have failed, and because it's saved you cannot restart, which means you have to rerun the entire verse. And if you're on verse 9 of an incredibly challenging chapter and that happens, you have to start from the beginning. There is nothing you can do. Like, the only thing you can do is back up your save every so often so that you don't have to replay as much, and it just doesn't make any sense. It seems so counterintuitive to the ranking system, and I could understand if it was like, Devil May Cry, where, not so much Devil May Cry 1, because Devil May Cry 1's ranking I think is really good, but Devil May Cry 3 has a no damage facility, which makes it the hardest ranking series in the hardest ranking in the series. And when you fuck up on that game, they don't care where you are. You have to restart the level. You can't restart checkpoints, because that came from a generation where, that's not how this worked. Those levels were designed to be almost like single session speedruns. They wanted people to restart from the beginning and learn them and get better and have that like 5 to 10 minutes of mastery. They didn't want you to be able to exploit the room checkpoints, which is a bold choice, but it makes it incredibly difficult. Bayonetta came out in a time when games were more lenient, so it does have a structure that enables people who aren't, seriously amazing gamers who can do things consistently over large periods of time to still succeed. And it just makes it really sad that every so often they fuck you with that. And then checkpoint wise, some of the checkpoints they're complete head scratchers, because the amount of times you will spend more time running back to something than you do fighting that said something happens a lot. For instance, this Alfheim, in order to get the pure platinum, you have to do every verse. And somebody who is a masochist at platinum decided to include the Alfheims as mandatory verses for the ranking. So the challenges that everybody did once to get the items and then swore never to do them again because they weren't very fun, become a mandatory part of gameplay. And you're seeing me do Alfheims I haven't done since I did them originally the week the game came out. Like, I had zero fun with the Alfheims, I really did. And now I have to learn them and do them, and I actually fear them, I do. because you never know what you're going to get, because I can't remember them, and they're always harder than the verses, the standard stuff. But this fight here is a really fun one. This was from the demo, if you played it originally. You're going to be taking on some affinities and some applauds. I believe affinities are the smaller standard angel, and this guy's an applaud. The thing I like to do is beat them up to the last part of their life and then use the torture attack on them to steal their spinny weapon. Because I love this angel arm, the lancey thing. Although I didn't use it very well just then. But dodge offset is a great way of keeping your combos going. However, I was never very good at it, and I didn't really like doing it, because I personally think dodge offset is something for for Infinite Climax. Because in that mode, you don't have a window to do your combos, so you have to keep them going through dodges, and as much as I think it's a really cool system, I've never been a big fan of holding the buttons, and there's a timing to it, there's a skill to it, and some people are amazing at it, but I'm not one of those people, so I'm a very defensive counter-puncher kind of player in Bayonetta. I trigger the witch time, and then I combo. You know, I don't really do too much out of it, which I'm trying to change, because I appreciate that the defensive methods are not the best, but it's just the way I've always played. But what I do to keep my combo going instead is I hold X to shoot. And not only does it tell me where people are when they're off camera, but it keeps the combo going and it allows me to cover the distance to them. Another way to do this, if there's nothing to shoot, is to spam the taunt. If you spam taunt, your combo will not decrease, and it'll enable you to chain it to some fights. The skill in is chaining fights, really, and I'm not too good at it, but I'm getting better, and that's the main point. So this is a beloved. You're going to fight tons of these enemies, so you really need to get comfortable with him. He has only one move that I really don't like, and it's the kick thing he does when he turns around. And the thing that gets me with that move is it's classed as a weapon before he kicks. And I hate that, I really do. And from a developer like Platinum, I think that's kind of sloppy, because everything else they do is usually so precise. I have no idea why they have it calibrated as a weapon before it lands. The only thing I could think of is maybe it's a knee and then a kick, but it's so fast you don't notice it, something like that. So if I can help it, I will avoid being too close to him when I'm not in witch time. Obviously his weak point is on his back if you want to do big damage, but I recommend not going for the weak spot, because occasionally you will need combo points, and sometimes killing things too quickly is not in your interest. Which sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. So after you've done that fight, you have to go back for the next verse. The next verse is going to feature a Grace and a Glorious. You can take the weapon with you if you want to use it, but I like using the whip against these, the rodeo move with the lasso. So get your witch time, and watch this, it will kill one of the Grace and Glorious, and then all you have to do on the other one is finish him off. I had a lot of difficulty here keeping my combo going, because this enemy type blocks, and when something blocks it doesn't register, so your combo can sink incredibly quickly. But if they parry you, they will always attack afterwards, so you can do what I just did then, and you can anticipate this, get the attack off, and get your witch time from it. There goes the Grace and Glory. There's the Pure Platinum, and I'm going to pick up his weapon here. And you'll notice this is the one that everybody gets Pure Platinum on, because all you have to do is dodge and use whatever weapon you've picked up. That right there is the kick move with the red gauntlets. You can charge that move, you can also charge the single punch. I had no idea you could do that. But straight on, this is 42 though. This is the Witch Dream flashbacky period. All I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to hold my combos with the guns on my hands and feet, and I'm going to be shooting and wicked weaving with them. A cool way of doing this fight, if you're good at the parry, is to perfect parry the projectiles. They will fire back at him and do good damage. I'm not really good at parrying on this game. It's actually a lot more relaxed than I thought it was. I thought it was like the Royal Guard from Devil May Cry, and it's not. This is a move where if you don't do it perfectly, you can still guard and take no damage. You can also spam it, which I didn't think you'd be able to, but you're not going to see me do too much of that because I'm not that good at it. Later on, I will be using it for specific instances, and whenever you see me put on a sword, it means the verse ahead somehow pissed me off. And this one pissed me off because I was doing this fight super stylishly, super high combo, but I think I was taking a little bit too long. So whenever I finished it on the next sequence, I could never get a platinum in the time. I'd somehow gone overboard, it had checkpointed, and it was... I even did the killgore move to kill this dude super fast, and I could not do it in quick enough because I'd somehow wasted time. So you'll notice I charged up the pillar torque, and I did the incredibly powerful charge attacks. And I'm just going to work his hand over here. I'm not too bothered about combo because I can always get combo on the final part. The best way to get combo here, folks, is to air combo, because whenever he knocks the piece of stone into the wall, the bridge, it'll rock Bayonetta, and she does that little stagger animation, which happens when enemies with large weapons hit the ground close to you, and it immobilizes you for a second, and you have to cancel out of it with a dodge. If you don't, you can get hit. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But this is the final verse of the chapter. It's carrying on your statistics and your time from the previous fight, so as long as you do both of them to a pretty competent level, you should be okay. But get the witch time off the arm, combo into whichever combo you prefer. I love the 4 punch to kick combo, it's my favourite combo in the game. And just be aware that when you come out of witch time and it speeds back up, you're probably about to receive an elbow, and you don't want to do that if you can get out of it. And if you're too slow here, the platform could collapse, so be careful too. I have no idea if not hitting the maximum climax bonus has any effect on your rank, but I always recommend trying to do that. Some of them are easy to do, some of them aren't. Like, I can competently get these climax moments to max bonus, but there are times when I'll do a torture attack, and I'm not too sure if it depends on how much life the enemy's got to how hard it is, but there are times when I can only get to the second to last glyph to light up, which you will see countless times in this guide, because I am no international track and field player. That shit hurts my thumb. But that is the end of the chapter. Here is the ranks for Angel's Metropolis. No item. Is it no damage? 12 minutes. My combo scores aren't going to be very high, guys, but then again, I'm not very good, so that's how it works. Thank you for watching anyhow, and you take care.